Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We're committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. All right then, let's head into today's conversation.
So today we are going to have this conversation about artificial intelligence. When I asked you to get your husband to come, you were saying LOL. You were laughing at me. But well,
because I don't think he uses it that much. Funny enough, when I came home today, he was like, we are talking about chat GPT and stuff like that, right? But I haven't heard him make a big deal. So it's just today that I came home and he was like, this thing is serious. So he's been able to do so much with it, like that kind of thing. So he had a writer's, is it called a writer's blog? And so he just decided, why don't I try this too?
Wow. And it's broke his block down.
Talent. It's the work that he would have used hours to do. He's been able to complete it. But at the same time, he's saying it's scary. So
Charlie. And that's and those are some of the themes we'll be talking about today. I'm trying to get Dennis in here. Especially as a student, I know it's for us as students, lecturers are always giving the caveat: don't use ChatGPT, don't use ChatGPT. And now some assignments that it's funny.
But I can't use it and edit.
You can use it and edit too, but that's the thing, you can still use it. And the professors, they want us to use. They want it to be authentic stuff. So some of the finals I'm writing, the professor is like, this is the question. So based on our guest speaker in week 3, what did he say about what he did? What do you think about what he said, what he did about this when he was faced with that situation? If you like, go and ask ChatGPT that question and come.
Okay, so for me, the way I will use it is I'll write whatever comes to mind. It may not sound too good and put it in to give me a better way of putting it.
So you are using it as your friend is saying spell check. These are
spell check, even putting it in a more professional tone. That's how I used it recently. So I was also working on goals, vision, and the rest for. So instead of going to Google and typing, I kept on putting stuff there. The ideas come, I look at it, I change it to suit what I want or what I want. So it was a bit like Google to me, but a bit, how do I put it, more direct. I feel now I'm going to click and read some long thing to find what it is I want, So a good research tool as well.
Yeah, I feel you. A more direct research tool.
Yeah.
Rather than going to look up everything. Okay, that's great. So these are some good use cases. So let's take a step back and let's start from the top. It's interesting. I thought by now we are here in May 2023. I think I first heard about ChatGPT in, was it August? No, that's too early. Must have been October 2022. I've forgotten if that was the right time. When somebody asked me and we tested it out on someone's podcast live, right? So that's when I first heard about it. Up till now, I'm surprised some people are clueless about it. But they'll hear about it very soon. I've invited some people over to come join us, have a discussion. Let me see. Let me bring this person up. Also, I'm trying to get to Dennis. I think Dennis must be having some technical challenges. He keeps coming and going. But I was wondering, what is ChatGPT? What is what's it called? Artificial intelligence, what is chat GPT and all those things. And the thought just dawned on me. If you are going to be having this conversation about AI, you know what? Let me just get into chat GPT and just start typing and let it answer these questions for us. What do you think?
Why not?
Yeah. So, So in case anyone just joined, let me just do a proper introduction. So today we are having a conversation about artificial intelligence, and how we even came around this conversation was, we're thinking the economy is hard, times are hard, inflation is high, so we are trying to figure out how can we increase our increase our income, because the expenses seems like there's only so far you can cut it. But how can you increase your income? And we were thinking, what haven't we said already on Money Convos? And that got us thinking, you know what? There's this new thing called artificial intelligence, or at least new to the general public. I know artificial intelligence has been behind a lot of technology and digital tools out there, but it's not been in the mainstream until OpenAI came out with ChatGPT. That made it really popular. So we want to see in this conversation, how can we use these tools, not just ChatGPT, that's the most popular one, but Google has come out with Bard. I think there are other tools out there. Some link to ChatGPT, some don't, and many tools. Some do many things. We want to see how we can use that to generate income for ourselves, either in our current job to make us more productive, to make us earn more income, or command them a higher salary or whatever, or if it's a side gig or looking for a new career, how to find a new job, how you can improve your chances, how to run a side business with AI assisting you, all of that. Basically, ways that we can use it productively to help boost our productivity and earning capacity. So that's the whole context behind this conversation. So starting from the top, we want to know, what is artificial intelligence? What I'm going to do is, I know I have an audience member around 44K. Please request for the mic so that I can bring you up. So let's put it in ChatGPT. What is artificial intelligence? And I'll just read out from the prompt. They will be doing some things live. AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. These tasks include problem solving, learning, perception, reasoning, and decision making. AI systems use algorithms and data to analyze and interpret information, make predictions or recommendations, and adapt their behavior or improve their performance over time. AI can be applied in various fields such as robotics, natural language processing, computer vision, machine learning, and expert systems. Now, someone will be saying, well, that's a whole lot of words, and some of them are big English. So I'm just going to edit this a bit and say, you know what? Say the above in explain artificial intelligence to a 10-year-old in 2 sentences. Boom. So it says AI is like having a super smart computer that can think and learn like a human. It helps us to do cool things like talk to robots, play games, and even make decisions. I just like how it can adapt to the stuff that we are saying. As we are asking it prompts, it can adapt to suit the context. Like, it gave a long, wordy, technical definition, and now it's been able to summarize it to something that would work for a 10-year-old. That's great. And I'm sure some people listening are like, well, we already know about AI. Can you move on? But it's good that some people understand these basics here. So let's ask again, what is ChatGPT? Yep. It says it's a computer program that can talk and have conversations with people, just like you and me. It's really good at understanding what we say and giving helpful answers or having chats. Okay, maybe I should remove the 10-year-old part from it and see what it gives us. Oh boy. Now that's getting a bit technical. Okay, so it said it's designed to have text-based conversations with people and provide helpful responses. It can understand questions, give information, tell jokes, and even engage in casual conversations. It's like having a friendly and knowledgeable AI friend to chat with. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I guess a lot of us have already interacted with artificial intelligence and Chat GPT. Mimi, have you used it before?
Yeah, on a lighter level because I am not paying for it. So um, recently I was working on a concept paper and
Hi, Mimi. Have we lost you?
those things information put together some stuff and it really helped make things simple. It was more direct than going to Google and asking, what does a vision for this kind of project look like? That would have brought out too many unnecessary stuff. But this gave actual examples and it was direct. And I
Mhm.
looked at it and tried to see. I still use Google though, so I use a number of options, but try to see, okay, does this work? Can I take a word? Can a word or a sentence or a phrase from this inspire me to be able to put mine a certain way? So I was able to work on the documents much faster. So for me, it was a good way to research. It was more direct than going to Google and Google giving you all the chaff and the good things. You have to take your time and go through. Yeah.
Yeah, Google gives you some stuff and you have to go through it yourself. Separate the sheep from the goats. All right, that's great. I like that use case that you have. So we're gonna go through some other use cases. I spoke to some people over the weekend and I asked how Ghanaians were using it because when you get online, you see a whole lot of things that a lot of people are using, even developers, hardcore coders, and all that are using it. But I wanted us to have the Ghanaian feel because some people may be starting from a more basic level and the context really mattered, right? And I categorize these use cases in different ways. And I'm sure if you get into Chat GPT and you ask it, how can I ask it the title of this question? How to use artificial intelligence to increase your income? It will probably give you 100 ideas, but we are just doing it a small subset over here. So there were some users that were related to job search. Some were related to entrepreneurship and ideas. Some were related to writing, and Mimi has highlighted a couple of those. Some which I found quite interesting was automation and coding. Someone will actually uses it to help with coding. We'll get into that a bit more. And then people actually using it in their normal work, helping with administrative work, make all of that easier. So yeah, we're going to get a bit in depth on some of these things. But to get us started off with some of these in depth things, I had a good conversation with someone who's just joined. The handle is around 44K. Do you mind sharing your real name for our audience? And welcome. Hello, can you hear me? You can unmute and speak. Okay, he's dropped off. Okay, well, when he comes back, we would ask him to share his experiences, right? But all right, let's get into some of them. The basic one is in the way of job search, which is CV writing. So you could be starting from a point where you don't have any CV and you say, okay, write a sample CV for me. I'll struggle to see anyone who doesn't have a CV at this point. Maybe someone in college. Dennis, are you there?
I'm here, Liken.
So do you know anyone who doesn't have a resume and a CV at all?
Interestingly, I know people who don't.
Hey, this day and age.
Yeah,
Okay, all
after
right.
final year, people still don't have CVs, and even if they have, it's very scanty, so it's very possible.
Oh wow, okay. So those people can start from scratch and say, okay, Chat GPT, write me a CV, write a CV for me, and maybe may ask you to give some prompts. Then you fill those prompts in. Or another thing you can do is if you have a CV already, you can just put your copy and paste your CV. I think with Chat GPT, I can upload files. If anyone knows how to do that, you could tell me. But what I did was with someone's resume that I was editing, I copied all the content and just pasted it in there and said, well, this is the role that the person is applying for. can you edit it? At a point, it said this is too much information. So I broke it down into sections and I pasted it in there. And it moved things around very nicely and made the wording way nicer. So like what Mimi was talking about in terms of tone, being succinct, finding the right diction, replacing all those words. And then it came out with a resume that was pretty much better than where we started out from. So that's a way that you are just gonna right off the bat improve your chances of being hired. So there's that.
Hello, Adam. I've now been able to set up fully now.
Great. So
yeah,
nice to have you here. Do you mind sharing your name for us?
Steve. My name is Steve.
Okay, well, nice to have you here, Steve. I was just telling our audience I was having a nice interaction with you over the weekend. You telling me some mind-blowing things you did. So we are starting off with a job search kind of stuff, and I know you've done a newsletter about it. Do you mind just sharing for like a minute or two? Just give us your rundown of how you see it help people with their job search.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I am Steve Odramial. I work in the financial industry, but I have a thing for artificial intelligence and AI. And ever since this chat GTP AI run started, I've always been in tune. I'll first talk about the career and how chat GTP can help with the career point of view when it comes to the CV place. Then I'll give a brief history per my little knowledge on what I know the AI journey has started from. That means worldwide, globally. But simply, with ChatGTP, it's a language processing technique where they have taken, it has read so much information and different CVs of different people according to how the programmers trained it. So it has been trained to read so many CVs and know which ones are the very good ones. So in order to do that, what it will help with a simple layman is you give him your role that you are applying for. Then it also now asks you for the CV, your current CV that you have. So you just paste in first the role that you are looking for from the job board or the online resource that you have. It reads it, then it asks you for your CV, then you paste your CV in. Then you now give it a command that it should act like an expert in recruiting employees and match your CV to the role you are applying for. Then it will run that command and within seconds, it gives you a CV that matches the role you are applying for. The other feature that I added to this prompt was that it was able to also give you exactly where it made the change. So if it made the changes at the experience portion, it will tell you exactly that it made a change at, let's say, your experience. It changed it from financial analyst to, let's say, project manager due to the matching of it. So that's what it does. Why is this important? This is important because it takes away that stress of you looking at the role profile, you looking at your CV and trying as much as possible to get it to match the roles that you're applying, especially when the role you're applying seems a little bit far from the spectrum of your current role or your current experience. So that's what it does. It helps you beat that time. And apart from that, too, a higher portion of that is that after doing all this too, it also helps you get the grammatical errors and the correct keywords, right? Recruiters take about 15 seconds to know whether this CV is good for the interview or not. So they really do not read. It's the keywords that they look for. So when you have at least the AI knowing a little bit of the keywords that were already stated in the role profile and helps it inculcate it in your CV, it makes you a better candidate. Yes.
Oh, that's powerful. So, it just brings up the different themes of how you can use it in your CV. And it's something interesting that you brought up, like making sure that you're asking the right questions. Like, take the position of an expert and craft my resume like this. It gives you're asking the question to make the AI give it more context to better assess what you are doing. That's great. Okay, so we'll take some other use cases, right? And I'll just quickly run through a bunch of them. And then we can start talking about like the implications for the world of work and how we feel about these things. So in terms of writing, we started talking about writing with Mimi and Steve have mentioned the diction and the tone and the right words in there. Earlier, Mimi was talking about writer's block. When her husband was writing, he got into some writer's block. Like the ideas weren't coming. I'm sure we've all been at that place. You are writing and you feel like, I don't have any ideas. So the AI actually has a lot of, helps a lot with generating ideas. For me too, even with school, some assignments, sometimes I'll finish doing an assignment and I'll just ask the thing, what are some ideas that I could use for this? And I'll run through and I'll go like, oh, okay. Out of the, I brought up 8 ideas or 4 ideas, and there's an extra one from ChatGPT that I could incorporate, So it just helps give a sense of the direction I'm going in. And then there's also the other things that people write, like application letters, cover letters. You could copy and paste the job description of the role that you are looking for, and then put it there. Some people are also applying for schools, so you can look at what's I think they call it. It's personal statement. Yes, a lot of master's programs ask for a personal statement. So you can put the prompt from the school in there. And then if you have a draft, of course, it would be good to have a draft for starters, right? If you don't, at least look at the sample, make your own draft. I feel like these things with the AI, you can't expect it to do everything for you. You have to put in some effort to meet it kind of halfway. Or Steve, what do you think? Is it possible that you can make the thing do everything entirely for you from scratch?
So when it comes to AI, it's supposed to, at this stage of AI, it's still not independent, right? So you are right on that basis that most of the AI systems that we have, we cannot leave it to do everything that we want it to do just like that, because some of them, the data, you have to recheck some of the information by yourself. So most of the AI systems now, even though they look super intelligent, you have to just do your checks once again. And people have this term of AI coming to take a lot of people's jobs and all those things. AI wouldn't necessarily take people's jobs away in the next 5 or 10 years per the few things that I know. But what I know specifically is that what AI will do is that it will become a better assistant to a lawyer. It will become a better assistant to an accountant. It will become a better assistant to an engineer. Okay, but it wouldn't really take out a lot of engineers out of. What it will do is that the financial analyst who understands AI will be the one who would be able to save his job in the next future. The lawyer who is able to understand how AI works and use it as an assistant will be the one who will be able to make more in the nearer future. So to answer your question once again, most of the AI that we have now, it is not just autonomous. You can't just say you are just using it as the input. You have to retrain it yourself. Yeah.
So it can't do everything for you, but you have to train it. You have to put in some of the work. That's great.
And even if it gives you output, I normally advise that you do your checks again, because ChatGPT, when you read their guidelines, they tell you that the information they give is not really that accurate, even though they are doing their best. And even, for instance, when you run a command in ChatGPT, if you look down there, you see down there that there's some place where it calls comments. It's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, right? What that is doing is that the AI needs your feedback, right? Whether it has answered your question well. Because in as much as you're giving it the information to generate something for you, it needs to know how accurate it was, so that it will help in its learning process. You get the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. So it's not 100% foolproof.
No.
It still has some ways to go.
Yes.
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And just on a lighter note, you may not have noticed this, but it sounds like you must have bought some cloth for your mother on Mother's Day because you are referring to Chat GTP. Those outside of Ghana, may know. I think GTP is a Ghanaian textile brand.
I know, right?
But you're advertising for the course.
Yes, but that is not the only AI that it's booming now.
Tell us about the others.
So there's a lot of AI that can help you in so many ways. I'll just skim through it a little bit so that you have an idea of it. Not just to be like this is happening, but also trying to find a practical way so that anybody who is listening on this space can share ideas and also move on. Now, what happened previously was within the era of from 2006 all the way down to 2021 thereabouts, there were still developers and researchers in the AI space just trying to train a computer, give it information. So AI is basically, you give the person, let's look at it like you give a supercomputer information. You tell him, give him so much information, and you ask him a question. So it's like a child that you are doing, you are training a child to give you all the countries in the world. You give the information on all the countries in the world. Then you tell him that the country that has a color that is red, gold, green, and black in the middle, which country is it? Initially, the child might give you Jamaica, Guinea, and Ghana. You get me? But you have to tell him that he should choose Ghana. Then he knows that it is Ghana that is the answer. So anytime you ask him, he'll be able to find out Ghana. Then what will happen is that if you ask him another question, a country that has red, white in the middle, and red again, but has like a tree in the middle, the same logic that you told him to choose Ghana is the same logic that you use to now go and look for the countries with that flag and tell you back that it is Canada, right? So that is how AI normally works. Now, what we have done as human beings over the time is that we have now been able to build models to be able to train it to give information from text to image, from text to video, to different things. So right now, the place that the AI industry was at previous year was that we were at the research stage where we were trying to run different models that would give us accurate information. So there were not a lot of AI products that were out mainstream. But now there's been a vast expansion because now we have seen that most of the models are working and they are giving out very accurate information. So most of the AI models are now being made products and being sold online. And now they are generative tools. I think I'll share that with you, Eden, in the chat so that you see the various things. So we have AIs that convert text to image, right? Those AIs, what you just do is that you tell him that one AI is called Mid-Journey, another is Neural Lab. What those AIs do is that you tell him that I want young black ladies with a huge signboard promoting Coke. And by just giving it that, you just have an image generation of 3 young black ladies standing behind a signboard promoting Coke, just by texting that image. That's the text to image product that out of that model is able to give you all that. We have text to video, the same thing as I explained. You give it a scene, a movie scene, then it generates a video. Normally, so with the text to video, they haven't really expanded. So it will generate something like maybe a 30-second clip from just what you text into the AI system. Then we also have the text to audio. Now, the text to audio was one of the very first ones that came into the market. What you just do is that if you have a book, a 300-page book, and you find out that you can't really read it because of your schedule or anything, when you have any of this text to audio products, you just copy it, paste it in, and it will be reading it out for you. And you could even read it in a language you prefer. I know some products even are able to read it in a voice of Snoop Dogg, in a voice of some of these very known celebrities, right? We have text to text. The text to text, that's the most popular one now. That's ChatGTP. And the recent one that joined, Bard. We have other ones, even apart from the popular ones that you know. Then we also move on to the generative ones that are also known to audio to text. So from just speaking, it can generate the text for you. And these ones are now used in Zoom. They have plugins that now when you're in a Zoom meeting and you are the one writing the minutes, right? And you don't need to stress yourself so much on going back to listen to the whole video again. When you have these plugins and you're in your Zoom meeting or your Google Call meeting, as the participants are speaking, it is generating the audio into text. It is generating the audio into text. I recently just saw that Microsoft Teams have inculcated it into it. At first, they used to have it, but it wasn't that accurate. But now it seems to be more accurate. We also have now audio to audio. Now, audio to audio does what the audio to audio product now does is that whatever you have that is audio based, you'll be able to translate it into another form where you'll be able to modify it. Audio to audio, an example. I don't know if Adam, are you aware of deep fakes?
Yeah.
Okay. So in getting a correct aspect of deep fakes,
I'll be concerned about someone going to say something with my voice as if it was me.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, I was minding my own business.
Yeah. So what that does is that, there are two sides of it. The video part where the person needs to download as many videos and pictures of you, Adam, and run it in a model and train it that this is the best one that looks like you. Then from the audio it will take as many voices as it's yours. So that's why it's easy to do a deep fake of celebrities, because they have so much data available online that when you pick it and you want to train the model will be able to train it in order to get the most accurate voice. So that's what most of these audio to audio guys do. So they run around a lot. I don't want to bore your mind with it, but I think the most important areas is where I have mentioned, right?
Yeah. Wow, these are pretty interesting areas, right? And I was thinking through the kind of ways that people may be interested in using them, especially with like side gigs, content generation. And I'm opening some of these sites like Neural Lab. I've asked for a Ghana flag, and the kind of things it's showing me some way. Is it like, so I can imagine like this kind of these kind of arts, people can use it to generate income, like do some artwork, overlay it with some audio that they used this AI to generate, and then they go ahead and create some free music streaming something to start generating income. I think I've heard about things like that. Have you heard of anything like that?
Yes, there are so many ways. I've heard something like that, people using it to generate income. So the income portion, I don't know whether you are ready for us to speak about the many ways of generating income from this AI blast or run.
Yeah, so what we can do next is I have a few more ideas, or not ideas, ways that people I know in Ghana are using. And we want to stick to ideas that like people from a basic concept, they can say, okay, this is my first day on ChatGPT. At least I can implement some of this stuff. So we'll go through some of the basic stuff, right? Okay. And let's see. And when people are doing their actual work, someone was telling me, and it's interesting, this person I was talking to is actually a medical doctor, but she has a business mind. I think she's done her MBA already, and she's involved in a lot of businesses. And she uses artificial intelligence to write appointment letters, termination letters for people. Somebody used it for terms of references, like policy documents, just generating a whole lot of things that you may have had to go hire a consultant or somebody with a business degree and they will charge you a pretty penny for you to get done. So those kind of clerical work. Do you know of anyone using these tools in that way?
I do not know of anyone, but knowing what Chat GTP and BAT can do, I know it's easy for you to generate any of those, right? Yes.
Yeah. Then there's also a bit on like coding. I'm struggling to see how people from a basic level would use coding. However, at least somebody who's gotten some experience, maybe somebody in university like Dennis, who's done a course or two in SQL or something, they are struggling, and then they ask, okay, what's the code I can use to generate this or that? In fact, even Excel, I see some people use it for Excel, like, okay, I need a formula to help me do this or that. And then they use it to generate the necessary code or formula in there to help them with their coding or Excel or even website development. And I'm seeing people like somebody is a nurse practitioner in the US, and they're using it, artificial intelligence to generate the code that is used to build their private practitioner website, all from scratch. It's interesting how people are using this. Have you seen any such usage?
Yeah, I have seen such usage, and I've used it in some references as you discussed, especially when it comes to that of Excel formulas and coding. Okay, and just as you described, I have a little bit of coding background, so sometimes when I'm lost, instead of going through the long Stack Overflow just to find a solution, sometimes when you put it in this AI system, they're able to help you get the solutions. However, there is a however. The code you build, that's my personal opinion. The code you build from your personal learning and your personal journey, and the options you get from this Chat GTP, quality wise, I would say what you personally, if there's any programmer here and the programmer has also tried using this Chat GTP and others, the person can also maybe also share their opinion, right? It's different. The quality is different. So I would prefer somebody who knows coding, who goes into Chat GTP to maybe help him with something or help him break down a concept, right? So I think the Chat GTP and others are still in the process of refining some of these portions of their models. So I wanted to also speak about there are a lot of people in the corporate world who are scared of doing PowerPoint presentation, right? And even not those who are scared of doing PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes your boss can just catch you off guard and say that you are presenting on this. And now you have to go and do all your research and do all those things. Maybe within a night or so. There's this tool that helps. It's called Gamma.ai, right? And Gamma.ai, what Gamma.ai does is that give him your topic. Give him exactly what you want him to develop or what you want him to talk about. And after giving him and being specific of what you want, within 5 seconds or so, it will generate a PowerPoint presentation of about 9 pages of the topic you want to talk about. That saves you a lot of time. That saves you a lot of stress. And from there, you can now have your basis of research. So that's also one way. Apart from the Excel formulas, if you are stuck with Excel, you just describe to him in details, he'll be able to generate it. Also with PowerPoints now, the PowerPoint presentations. When you go to Gamma.ai, you give him that, you see that he'll be able to generate something very, very, very resourceful for you.
Charlie, Steve, I don't know what the other people in the audience are doing, but when I'm here on Money Convos, my computer is open. I am signing up to this Gamma.app. It's Gamma.app. Just put that in your browser.
Yeah.
Continue with Google. See, this is something I've actually been looking for. I know I saw something like this sometime back because in my line of work these days, we do a lot of PowerPoints going into consulting, and it's basically PowerPoints. I don't have an eye for design. One thing. I can do everything structurally. All the content to be there. It's left with the design. There was this tool in PowerPoint, the design thing. But now, after I put in some elements, then it can't generate any ideas for me again. So I'm going to get into this Gamma app that you've suggested to see how it can help.
Just give it a test, right? Just give it a test to just give you. We are doing a presentation on AI and how it will help generate income. We should give it the advantages, disadvantages, and the possible ways, and also give out the sources of information. You'll be shocked what Gamma will be able to provide to you.
Wow. Dennis, Mr. Producer, are you listening to this? I think we need to test this one. We use it to generate a newsletter after this, a nice slideshow, put it on Instagram and on social media of testing this topic. Dennis, what do you think? For the young man of God. But don't worry, I'll give you assignment after this. But yeah, Steve, this is a good idea. We'll try it out and put it there. And, at least people see that, okay, we're actually using the stuff that we were talking about. So if you are afraid of PowerPoint presentations, you are concerned about it, this is definitely a tool that can help you. And you do this, other colleagues, imagine you're a national service personnel and your supervisor has asked you to do a PowerPoint presentation about something. And other people are there fumbling with Microsoft PowerPoint, and you come and use this tool and you blow their minds. Maybe they'll stop sending you to buy with so much watching. Maybe once a week instead of 4 times a week. They'll be using you for more cerebral things. Interesting. All right, that's a very good use case for us. A few more. Let me see. I think that's pretty much covers some of the use cases that I had in mind. Okay. Steve, if you have maybe 2 or 3 other use cases, then we can start talking about it in general.
Okay. Let's now focus on very resourceful things for somebody. Okay. Now, you can publish your whole ebook within 2 days. If you have learned, I spoke to you about prompt engineering. If you have really learned prompt engineering, your ebook that you said you need to do that in your mind, you have said that, I need to write it first, go and give it to this man to read, go and give it to this person to read, and all those things. All that can be bought with you sitting down, learning prompt engineering, and being able to use this to help you write your book. Now, a lot of people are now using it to... Yeah.
Let's take a pause. And then tell us all about this prompt engineering. I think that is the key thing underlying all this ChatGPT, because you need to know how exactly to write your questions to get the right answers from the system.
Yeah, great. So simply, what prompt engineering does is that whatever you are speaking to the AI, in reference to the text-to-text AIs, whenever you are speaking to them, whatever you type into it is called a prompt. Okay. So the technical word is the prompt, right? It's kind of like a command you are giving to the computer that, hey, I want you to do this for me. Okay. Now, what prompt engineering is that it is a skill of getting the most accurate and best out of the AI, because everybody can give a prompt, right? But it's not everybody that will get the best out of the ChatGPT or the bad. Okay, everybody can write a story about Kwame Nkrumah. Somebody will just say write a story about Kwame Nkrumah. Somebody will say write a story about Ghana's first president. Somebody will say write a story about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. All these guys will get different responses because the AI is specific to your prompt. So what prompt engineering does is that you are trying to get at best from the AI using very specific information and speaking in a way that the AI will be able to understand from the human point of view and also translate it quickly and give you the best of answers. Okay. So for instance, if you pick ChatGPT for instance, and you go ahead and you tell ChatGPT that what is financial investment, it will give you a general answer for financial investment. But let's say you are asking him about financial investments in order to help you understand something that you are going to use for maybe your presentation, right? So when you type what is financial investment, that is the first level of prompting. But priming in the prompt engineering now says that tell him that act as a professional financial investor and explain to me the concept of financial engineering like a 5-year-old. Now, that will give you a way different answer and make you really understand the output that will be given. It will give you the best of output from that. We also have another type of prompting, right, where people say, give me 5 advantages of working a 9 to 5 job, for instance. It will give you random answers, okay? But when you now give it specifically, for instance, you are using this information to help you win an argument or a debate, you then now can give it that, give me 5 importance of working a 9 to 5 job in today's contemporary world, and also be concise and give it to me in bullet points. For every advantage, state an equally opposite disadvantage and put it in a table form. The information that will give you will be different from somebody who will just type, give me 5 advantages of working a 9 to 5 job. Right. So these are the very, very petty things that will always make you a better user of the AI than a normal user. And prompt engineering can be learned by everybody from a child to an adult. It's just learning the best way to get out of the artificial intelligence softwares that we have. And to add, now companies are employing prompt engineers. They are employing prompt engineers because now they are developing AI systems. And before they release the AI systems, they want somebody to see the highest potential of their AI systems. So they now need people who can ask very specific questions and generate the best out of the AI systems that they are developing. Yeah. Hello,
Wow, this is really powerful, and I like how you broke it down. And I hope people are hearing about the different ways of asking questions and how the more specific you get with how you ask your questions, the more specific and more useful the answers that you will get will be to you. You know, that's an important part of this whole process. So it just makes me think, there's really no shortcut even in this. It looks like, oh yeah, it's an easy way to do things, but if you ask prompts in a lazy way, somebody else will beat you to it. So nowhere cool, as the boys on the streets will say. You still got to put in some efforts to make this really work for you. That's really great. I just thought of another use case. People in finance, and somebody in class did this. I had a class where there were a lot of engineering students taking that class. Some people do like a management in engineering, and we were looking at comparing some financial ratios of companies. So what one guy did was he copied some information from an Excel table with financial data about different companies, like 5 different companies. And he pasted it in ChatGPT and he said compare them. And the kind of results he got was that ChatGPT was saying, well, if you are looking out for profitability, company A is way better than the others because of this and that and this and that. And if you are looking for liquidity, or if you are looking out for good public relations or something, it is better for this or that. So that even tells you that people in finance this can help them. Now, this is no investment advice, but this money convos. I can imagine if you are considering 2 different investments, maybe you could go ask this question. I'm thinking about this investment that deals in gold or something, and it's called men's gold. Men's gold. So, based on these features, what do you think what are the questions I should ask when I go to their office? I can imagine that those are some prompts that will help you avoid a Ponzi scheme like men's gold. So yeah, that's just an interesting use case I've just thought about for ChatGPT and other AI tools. Interesting. So now let's move away a bit from the actual use cases. And if anyone just joined, listen, you need to listen to at least the last 30 minutes of this conversation. We've looked at very specific uses, I mean, different scenarios that it can help you in building your career. We've talked about job search CVs, writing essays, doing PowerPoint presentations, coding, Excel, so many different areas. And we've talked about prompt engineering. You should look it up, Google it, or heck, you should even ask ChatGPT, how can I learn prompt engineering, or where can I see courses on prompt engineering, or Google it, and you'll get some really good places to start. I think Coursera is offering a course in collaboration with OpenAI, the company that developed ChatGPT. So yeah, now I'm curious, how do people feel about this? Let's start with Dennis. Dennis, are you there?
Hi, Elikem.
Okay, great. So how you are a student, you're in final year of school. How do you feel about ChatGPT? One, as a student, and two, as somebody who will be entering the workforce very soon. What's your thoughts about all this artificial intelligence?
Okay, so basically it's been a lifesaver for us if I'm speaking for all students because it's become much easier to search for information online. Mimi mentioned that previously Google will give you various sources to search for your information, but ChatGPT is very direct. It gives you the answers plain and it's very reasonable to use it. When it comes to the quantitative side, that's a bit of a problem because sometimes you input some of the figures in there and then it gives you some wrong answers. But when it comes to theory and writing stuff like that, it's very easy to get information from there. And then I have also been using ChatGPT in my job search. So I'm applying to a few firms for my national service, and then I seek ideas for my cover letters and then my CV from ChatGPT. So it's been a lifesaver for me personally. But then I also had conversations with some of my colleagues who have side gigs like graphic designing, some are into photography. I used to have had a very interesting conversation with my professor, Prof. Eli. He is a professor of finance, but then he's also into machine learning. And he actually employs Chat GPT in his coding. He's I think the head of research at Tesla Capital. So he used one lecture to teach us how to use ChatGPT to code, and I think it really piqued my interest there. So I had a conversation with my lecturer too. So I think it's generally we think it's here to help.
Okay, all right, that's good. You think it's here to help, but I'm curious though. Let me just be a bit cynical. We know you, Dennis. You're a sharp guy. Your GP is like 4.5 out of 4.0. I understand. Okay, but do you think people who have average skills or average intellect and or even below average would see the same opportunity? And if not, like what kind of mindset switch can they change to help them?
Okay, so although it's pretty easy to use ChatGPT, some of my colleagues are also very reluctant to use it. I think they have this mindset that tech is not for them. I don't know whether it's a Ghanaian mentality or something. Whenever they hear something related to tech, they are not willing to learn. So some actually are against using ChatGPT or any other AI in their academic work. And I think, I don't know, it's maybe there's some barrier to information or they are not exposed to information like outside Ghana. So I think people who are average or who don't know the uses of ChatGPT, I think will find it very difficult to use it.
Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Thank you for sharing those perspectives, Dennis. Let's switch over to a seasoned career woman. Mimi, how about you? You've been listening silently so far to all the buzz that are coming, and I can imagine you have your pen and paper by your side. How do you also feel about this new wave of technology?
it may affect, the jobs of people who would have ordinarily created this content. However, because it still requires some level of work, and maybe people will still not be willing to, especially if you have the money, you would probably just want to give it to someone to go figure out, because you have to proofread, you have to do all sorts of things before you settle on the final stuff. So maybe you don't want to go through all that. You still want to hire. But for people who have maybe small money they are trying to manage, they may end up doing it on their own. So I just think that it may affect, opportunities to a certain level. But for people who also leverage on it, it would also give you the opportunity to finish work faster. So if you are somebody who writes and it takes you days to write and you use this tool, you can probably go through a document in a shorter period and get more business, especially now where people are not really, this is Ghana. It will take some time for it to catch up, I'm sure with the older generation, though, they're actually not even interested. So these are all people that I think that maybe for the younger folks, it may be a bit difficult, but for other people, they may not be interested in what this whole thing is and how it can make their lives easier. Even as Dennis was speaking, for people in the university, these are people who are supposed to be the future leaders in code. So I feel like as much as people don't embrace it, it gives opportunity to those who know about it to still use it to finish work faster and then take on more work and more opportunities.
So there's opportunity for people who are willing to do that, and there will be some income lost for people whose services will be replaced. This is the age-old conversation about when cars came to replace horses. People were like, oh, but the farmers or the people who breed horses, they will lose some income. But, after all is said and done, there still needs to be progress, right? And people would find ways to go towards other ways of making income. So we hope that anyone who loses any potential income would find a way to replace it sustainably and legally. Interesting. Okay. All right. So as we start to wrap up this conversation, I hope we've all picked up some lessons about how we can use AI. And I think a basic piece of advice is, you know what, even if you don't know, if there's something that you are doing, just go and ask ChatGPT. Just go to, what's the link? I think it's, the link is chat.openai. So chat.openai. That's OPENAI.com. That's a good place to start. Or you can just do a Google search. Which artificial intelligence tools can I use to do whatever? Just everything starts with Google. I think Adam has said this thing before. Google is your friend. So Google is your friend. You can use that to find out how you can use AI. Even if you don't know the specific details, just know that there's something out there that's ready to help you make your life much easier, make you more productive, give you more business ideas, give you more creative ideas, transform your text into images, create art. Just imagine the sky is the limit. Anything out there for you. And Steve, I'll be coming to you very soon to take your concluding remarks on this topic. But before then, I have a question I want to pose to everyone in our audience. The way the technology is there, we know that Ghana is hard. We know that the global economic situation is hard. People don't have opportunities. People are looking for jobs they are not finding. My question for you is, with all this technology going on, all these opportunities, what's your excuse? What's your excuse to not learn about prompt engineering if you really can't find any other means to increase your income? What's stopping you from using artificial intelligence? Maybe you don't have internet. Okay, maybe I guess you wouldn't be listening to this in the first place, but it just gets us thinking about the mindset behind all of this. What stops you from taking advantage of all these opportunities to get off your behind and get to work, to stop making excuses and just start making things happen? I understand that people are in different situations, but this is just some food for thought. A lot of the stuff that we've spoken about today are all free. Once you have internet, once you have a computer or even a smartphone, you have access to all these things. So give us some thoughts and start finding a way to use artificial intelligence and the internet and technology to help you. Okay. So we'll wrap up with Steve. Steve, please, do you have any concluding thoughts for our audience about artificial intelligence and increasing our income?
Thank you, Adam. I think my concluding thoughts would be to not have a closed mind with this new AI run, and also not to also move into the extreme of it. So everything that comes for the past few years, they come in a very quick form, but normally the losers at the end of the game are those who go too extreme to it. But there's so many opportunities there. If you ever wanted to be a social media writer, and this is the time where you can use these tools to help you with your social media management. Everything from content writing. If you wanted to write a book now, a tool has been created for it to be easy for you to do that. So there are so many ways. If you have a Twitter account, start following people who are in this space, the AI space, in order to better yourself. And I think if you're really, really serious about it, you'll be able to make something better about this AI run that is going on currently.
That's great. Follow the people, and thank you for this information, Stephen. It's a good way to be measured. The extreme ends may be a problem. Saying you won't do anything at all is a problem.
Yeah,
and going too all in all at once too.
Yeah, it's
risky.
It will go down at a certain point. Something new would also come up again, and will now be stuck. So just having a balance so that you know how best they can help you will keep you in the game. It's just giving me the same deja vu vibes with the coming of Bitcoin, the coming of NFTs and all that, right? They will come. You have to use it for your betterment and see how much you can make and get out of it, or use it to develop your business, but not to go to the extreme where it's like the only thing you know. Yeah.
That's interesting. You shared a link with me, and Adam is the pro at this. So I want to reply to this conversation with that link. So Adam, I'll drop it to you on WhatsApp, and then you can just pin it or reply to this thing. For some weird reason, I've still not learned this thing. Steve has shared a lot of resources that can help. Actually, I can use WhatsApp here, and I just want to drop it before we go so that anyone who is listening can just refer to this link. It gives a lot of other AI tools and their website links and what they do all in one place so that you don't have to go do all that research on your own. Great. Tweeted it. All right. So it's down there for everyone to see. I've tweeted it as part of this space, so you can see that link. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining our discussion. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Mimi, for joining in the discussion. And over the weekend, I put out something on my WhatsApp status, and a lot of people responded, Steve being one of them. And shout out to everyone who responded with all these ideas of ways that Ghanaians are using artificial intelligence to improve their lives and increase their income. I really appreciate you all, and I hope to catch you here again same time next week on Twitter Spaces. And if you missed this live conversation, just get on wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you watch YouTube, just search for Money Convos. And when you're on Instagram also, in addition to following Money Convos, go follow Investment Friend. Here we do a lot of talking and education, but at Investment Friend, we do more one-on-one, just one-on-one conversations about your personal finance. That we tailor it to what will suit you, because some information may just be generic and you want to make sure you're talking to an advisor who can address your own unique circumstances. So thank you once again for spending your time. We really appreciate it, and we'll catch you again next week. Goodbye and a good night.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.